Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Yesterday I had to make a trip out to an orchid nursery, basically, because I'm proposing to take our Orchid Society Orchid Loonies to visit it next year, and I'm not prepared to take a coachload of people out to somewhere I haven't actually been and looked over. The guy Laurence Hobbs is absolutely amazing. He's got witty stories, can have you in stitches, but his nursery's seen better days. That's the only way I can explain it. And many years ago, when he came out of Kew Gardens, where he used to work, and decided to go on his own and set up his own nurseries, in those days you built cedar wood greenhouses. That was the way it was, and you know, that's the way he went. Unfortunately, timber, as we all know, has a limited life, and his glass houses have seen better days. One of them's already caved in, the glass has gone, the roof has failed. He's shored one up with sort of like metal girders and things like that. And with the events that have been happening in the UK recently, and the possible restrictions on plant movements throughout the European Union at some point down the future, the guy's looking on the bright side, but with a gloomy element. He says that as long as his glass houses stay up, he will continue in business until such time as he's either told to stop or his supplies dry up. He imports an awful lot of plants from Europe, as do all of the orchid nurseries in the UK, and at the moment there are no restrictions. Once the plants are in Europe, and I would suggest they're not all coming into Europe legally, but they're getting in through back doors. But once they're there, we can import them in the UK. But who knows, CITES may raise its ugly head in the not too distant future. Strange times, as they say. Anyway, I bought a few plants while I was there. I almost felt obliged to, but nonetheless, you can't visit an orchid nursery and come away with nothing at all. I got this little Masdevallia. The one next to it had blooms on it, but this was a better plant. The one next to it with the blooms on, I took out of the pot, and I thought, nah, I'm not having that. I'm not rescuing Masdevallias. Anyway, due to the fact that it was his open day, and I know the guy is a trader through the Orchid Society connections and everything, I got a really good deal on the 3 plants I bought, so don't take any notice of the price on these tags. That's not what I paid. Anyway, this is a hybrid Masdevallia. It has lovely orange flowers, absolutely smothered with the tiniest red dots. It's a very attractive flower. If I can find a picture on the internet that doesn't infringe anybody's copyright or anything like that, I'll put a pop-up. Otherwise you'll have to trust me, as they say. I got this one. I've never heard of this. This is oh God, I'm not sure I can even say that. Bamfildara. It's Gilded Tower Mystic Maze. It's not a bad looking plant. I'm not sure what I'm going to find when I get that thing out of the pot in a minute, but given that the guy's glass houses actually flooded in the heavy rains we've had recently, he had a stream running through his glass house. Everything is sopping wet. An awful lot of his pale coloured orchid blooms have now got black spots on them as a consequence of sort of mould and things. That's not a problem, that will recover. As we all know, we shouldn't be buying plants because of a flowering situation. We should be buying plants that are going to be good plants, despite the fact that they're in bloom now. The next lot of blooms are what we look forward to, and we should be checking our plants out. Now, this isn't a bad plant. There were 3 of these. These are the blooms. They're spidery, so there's definitely some brassia in there, or possibly Ada or Brass Ada. Somewhere in its heritage it's got spidery nonsense going on anyway. These blooms are not at their best. They've been out quite a long time, and they're just starting to lose their cover. Hence an even bigger discount than I would have got before. I know what I'm going to find when I dig this out of the pot. I'm going to find poor quality roots, but out of the 3 plants that were there, this is the only one that's got its new growths just starting at the base round the back. And you'll notice as I'm filming, there's a root. Anybody who knows orchids knows what that is hanging off of. But let's start there. What is that nonsense? Well, what that nonsense actually is a way of actually transporting plants that you grow bare-rooted without hindering those roots during transport, taking plants to shows and things like that. It's a trader trick, basically. It's a pot full of perlite, or whatever you call it. Tiny sponge rock, I don't know, it's got many names. So as you can see, I bought a Vanda. And I certainly didn't pay that for it. Now that's got Cerulean in it, and it's crossed with, I don't know how I'm going to say that, Cactana White Will. What it is doesn't matter so much, apart from the fact that it's got that first species in it. That species is renowned to be more tolerant to lower temperatures and more tolerant to lower light levels. So if it's got that as one of its main ingredients, in theory it should do okay in the UK. And the scent in this place today is overpowering. Oh. I know what it is. It's a combination of the Prosthetia, well, the two Prosthetias and my little Neo, but I've filmed them before. Anyway, let's go up the plant. This is a good plant. It's got fabulous roots. Lots of them are hidden in that perlite stuff. It'll be out of there in a minute. It's got some good sturdy roots coming out. As you can see going up the plant, it's flowered here, it's flowered here, it's flowered here, and the current spike is here. So it is flowering, I would suggest, once a year. Looking at the colour of the leaves and looking at the guy's nursery, and he did say he'd had this one a while. It's been out to several shows and hasn't been sold, so he's had it a while, and this flower spike is his. So he's had it in his nursery a while. His nursery is quite heavy shaded, so this Vanda hasn't had the light it ought to be getting. Nonetheless, it's still put out some good new leaves, and there's another new leaf coming there at the top. In the light that I'm going to give it and the rest of the year that I've got to push this plant on, who knows, I might even get another bloom. And I know what you're waiting for. The blooms. As far as I'm concerned, that Vanda is stunning. It is gorgeous. As soon as I walked in the nursery, this was sticking up, obviously, because it's a large plant. And yet, the flowers are going over, so I knocked even more off the price, as the spike was going over, and he can no longer take it out and try and sell it. So I'm pleased with that. That is the most delicate purple lip on it. It's gorgeous. And this is white with very heavy veining, which means it doesn't look pure white. It is, but it's got shading to it. It's, you know, these if I turn the petals sideways, you can see that the veins are ridged, so it gives it a depth. It gives it a sort of three-dimensional look. I'll see if I can get back away from it so you can sort of see the scale of the flipping thing. I'm not going to get it in shot without climbing out the window, which doesn't open, so I can't. But you can see this is a big plant. I'm not quite sure where the hell I'm going to put it yet. But the first job is to get it out of there and get rid of that white nonsense. That means I'm going to have white bits all over the carpets. They'll be stuck to my clothes because they've always got static in them. But anyway, I'll do my best to dig the thing out. It's potted. It's not potted. It's effectively in an open basket inside there. You can just see the top. So it's just a matter of pulling it out. It's going to be nothing more than that. But the mess it's going to make, I'll spend the rest of the day clearing up, I expect. Anyway, that was my 3 purchases. Little Masdevallia to go with the others. That will be repotted immediately. It's got signs of slug or snail damage, and given his nursery, I'm not flipping surprised. I didn't see any pellets. As I say, the guy says he only makes money now from imported plants that he takes around the shows, the Orchid Society shows, the sort of shows around the country, selling those imported plants. Mainly, you know, your Phalaenopsis and your Oncidium types, the likes of Nellie Isla and all those sort of things. And that's the only way he can make any money. If he relied on his nursery, he'd have gone down a long time ago. So that's how he stands at the moment. But this is coming out the pot today. I'm not leaving it any longer, just in case there's things in the pot that I just don't want. That's coming out of the pot today. The roots are already starting to suffer, and I do not like the look of that lot. Let's have a sniff. Oh, it doesn't smell too bad. I can get near it anyway. And also that's been kept in a light level that's too low. It's probably been in the back of his van half the year. And you know, these spikes last a long time. The spike's about to go. That'll have to come off, and a repot. And dig that one out of the white stuff. Get rid of it all. Half of that will have to go down the sink. And sort of clean it up, and then try and find a place to hang it, which, while the flower spike's on it, is going to be damn near impossible. But the flowers are going to drop, you know, within probably week at the most before the last one comes off. I'm going to leave them on there because with a Vanda it does no harm. Absolutely no harm. There's no drain on that plant whatsoever by leaving that spike on. The energy it used to produce it has already been used. It doesn't use any energy holding it up there. It's still pushing out new leaves and hopefully getting it in my environment with the extra light and everything. Some of these dormant root tips will either branch or will grow again, and the root tips that are inside that white stuff don't look too bad, so I think it's going to have a good root system, an extensive root system that's going to have to be accommodated somewhere, as yet to be determined. I shouldn't have got it really. I haven't really got room for that monster, but I like the flowers, and it's a healthy plant. I'm reasonably confident I might get another spike this year, given that we've still got 2 or 3 months worth of good light and good growing. You know, temperature's reasonable and all that stuff that goes with Vandas, so I might get another spike towards the end of this season. If not, it's a regular bloomer. It hasn't been kept in the best of conditions, but hopefully I can do better and at least get 1, maybe 2 spikes next year if I don't get another one this year. Okay, that was it. A little haul and some work to do, obviously. The repotting mechanisms have to kick in. I better go and clear the kitchen up, I suppose, which is where I do that sort of thing. I haven't got room in here. Thanks for dropping by, and speak to you again soon. Bye for now.